Hey, what's up guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. In this video, we're looking at the rare atmospheric river. These don't occur very often, but when they do, they bring a gigantic rain train with them. And this one was no different. It set rain records in California, in parts of the upper Northwest, all the way up into Canada. Here's a closer look at the atmospheric river that expanded well over 1,000 miles long aesthetically. You can see Hurricane Rick making landfall just a few hours ago as a Category 1 hurricane. The remnant of the first atmospheric river that made landfall, or at least a very large low-pressure system off the upper northwestern part of the United States, left a trail of power outages in the Central Plains yesterday. At one time, I think there was nearly 50,000 customers without electricity between Missouri and Illinois. I think right now a lot of those power outages have been restored, but the atmospheric river at its peak, 114,000 customers in California without electricity, 48,000 in Washington, and at the time I took this screen grab, 10,000 customers without electricity in Illinois. All weather related. Once again, big weather moving across North America, and you can find many updates regarding the atmospheric river and the rain records. It did help the drought situation in California, but they need to find that golden mean where there's not too little rain and not too much at one time. The golden mean is nice, but right now they're dealing with an excess amount of rain causing flooding, mudslides, and a variety of different weather-related issues. I want to take you guys now over to the website where there's been an increase in solar activity and probably going to increase even more in the coming days. We're looking at stereo A. This is on the left-hand side of the sun. The Earth is over here on the right. This is viewing the sun from left of the Earth. And there was something weird going on here at 1609 Universal Time. Some sort of an eruption you can see leaving the surface of the sun. This is on the back side of the sun. After this eruption, there was yet another eruption, and you can see it here from this satellite view. This is the Solar Dynamics Observatory. Something very powerful erupted off the backside of the sun, and looking at the X-ray flux, it was nearly an M flare on the backside of the sun, so it was probably stronger than what it's showing here. They even talk about it over here at spaceweather.com. Far-side solar flare. Earth orbiting satellites have just detected a CA-class solar flare. The source is an active region located just behind the sun's northeastern limb. That means the flare was even stronger than it looked because it was partially eclipsed by the sun, and the ionosphere of Earth detected the solar flare immediately. Within 60 seconds of it occurring, it was detected in the ionosphere of planet Earth. That was like a shock wave of protons from the very large solar flare. And once again, that was a far side event, was not even Earth directed, but the activity in the future more than likely will be Earth directed as that turns towards planet Earth. You can see there's been a little bit of activity in the Schumann resonance, no major spikes, but here in the last 24 hours, there has been an uptick in activity in the Schumann resonance. Could be solar related, but not 100% sure. Looking at the power outage situation, you can see California's down under 100,000 customers, starting to get people's power back on, down to 36,000 in Washington, and back up to nearly 20,000 customers without electricity in Illinois. I want to take you guys now out to La Palma. New update on October 25th of 2021. And guys, I'm just reading you the updates from en.as.com. They're staying on top of the latest details involving the volcanic activity out of the Canary Islands. Volcano enters its 6th week of activity beginning on September 19th. More than 80 earthquakes recorded Monday morning. A 5.0 magnitude earthquake. I heard it was a 4.9, but either way, it was the largest earthquake since the eruptions began. Lava flow now covers a surface area of 892 hectares, over 35,000 earthquakes and tremors, and we're going to talk about the earthquakes in this area here in just a moment. And another part of the cone has collapsed. You can see video footage by Radio Lux of the cone collapsing. This is the second time this has occurred in 24 hours, and you can see it falling into a river of lava flowing away from the cone. Remember, when it's underground, it's called magma, and when it breaches the surface of the Earth and is flowing freely on the surface, like you see right here, it is known as lava. But yet another section of the cone has collapsed. I think that's the second time in 24 hours, and the third time time in the last 2 or 3 days. So it appears the cone is deteriorating more and more each day. I wanted to share an article down here in these updates. Goes on to say Cumbre Vieja more active each day, claims experts. Spokesperson David Calvo claimed the volcano is generating more seismic activity with the passing of each day and is generating more lava since it began. So it appears the activity is strengthening and not weakening. I wanted to talk about the earthquake situation. I've had several viewers share this map with me of the earthquakes out on La Palma, and for some reason the earthquakes are in a perfect grid, as you can see here on this map at ems-csem.org. And guys, this is new to me too. Once again, I've had several people email me screen grabs of this very unusual map. I've followed swarms all around the globe, in Greece, in Turkey, in the southern Pacific, out in the Hawaiian Islands, and in the western United States, swarms all over the world involving thousands of earthquakes, and I have never seen them lined up in a grid like this, a perfect grid at that, expanding north and south and west to east. My best guess as to what's going on here, it's the software that manages the hundreds, if not thousands of earthquakes that are occurring in this area from the volcanic eruption. I don't know that this is necessarily anything nefarious. I don't want to theorize. I don't want to speculate because I really don't know exactly what's going on. To me, I would say this is how the software that's managing all of this earthquake activity, it's almost overwhelming how much earthquake activity is going on in this area. And as we just read, the earthquake activity is increasing. There were 80 just this morning and recently a 4.9 or a 5.0, the strongest since they began. Will that generate a tsunami if there is some sort of a major collapse? We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully not. We'll keep our fingers crossed that that doesn't happen. We've been monitoring this volcanic activity over here in the Canary Islands for several weeks now, and over here at spaceweather.com, they're monitoring volcanic activity in space on a comet that's orbiting the Earth in between Jupiter and Saturn. And here's the orbit of the comet right over here at the NASA JPL. Back over here at spaceweather.com, goes on to say Comet 29P erupts again. The BAA is reporting another strong outburst of Comet 29P. The volcanic comet suddenly brightened tenfold on October 23rd when a sunlit vent opened, spewing cryomagma into space. Dr. Richard Miles of the BAA provided this light curve. And this is how bright it got. It got very bright very, very quickly. Comet 29P is one of the strangest objects in the solar system. In fact, it strains the definition of comet. 29P is a ball of ice, 60 kilometers wide. That's around 30 miles, much larger than a typical comet, trapped in a planet-like orbit between Jupiter and Saturn. And that would be this location right here that I just shared with you guys. It orbits the sun between Jupiter and Saturn. It appears to be festooned with ice volcanoes which erupt 20 times per year, but they've been erupting a lot more here lately. A rapid-fire super eruption of 4 volcanoes in late September created an expanding shell of vaporized cryomagma, which astronomers have been monitoring. Yesterday's eruption propelled a new compact shell into the old, larger one. And coincidentally, this thing began to erupt about the same time as La Palma out in the Canary Islands. Once again, this is being called one of the strangest objects in the solar system, a icy volcanic comet. And last but not least, some very rare earthquakes that have occurred over here in North America. One in Lake Erie, October 18th, a 2.4, a 3.6 in East Los Angeles, a 2.2 up in New Brunswick, Canada, a 2.5 in central Kansas, coming in at 4.1 miles deep, a 2.7 in North Carolina, and a 2.2 in South Carolina. These earthquakes aren't very large, but they are definitely in very strange locations. You've got an earthquake right there, 2.4 in the middle of Lake Erie. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe out there.